Hello YouTube, my name is Michelle Ha, and today we're going to be talking about the method of getting things done. This is a process that was developed by David Allen, who wrote the book Getting Things Done. Okay, so we're just going to put this little circle away. I'm going to pull in this map we have over here. So the first thing that David Allen talks about is a thing called stuff. And everyone loves stuff, right? Yeah, stuff's cool. Thumbs up. That was bad. But anyways, so stuff can be anything. Stuff can be things like, I need to walk my dog. I just got someone's phone number. Or I have a science project due 2 months from now. Things like that. It can be anything at all. And whenever you have stuff, you want to put it in your inbox. And your inbox, just right here, can be a physical place or a place online. It can really be anything at all. So if it's a physical place and you choose an actual box to be your inbox, you can write the things that was your stuff, and you can throw it in that box. You can just write it on a sheet of paper and throw it in the box. Or if it's electronic, you can just type it up on a list, which could also be your inbox as well. And once you have your things in your inbox, they're all in one place, and so you don't have to think about it anymore. And so once that occurs, whenever you get some time, you can pull things out of your inbox. And then the next step is figuring out, what was this thing that you have, right? So what is it? So once you figure out what it is, you want to figure out can you currently take action on it? And if you can, you have yes as an option, and if you can't, you have no as an option, right? So there's 3 things you can do if your action cannot be taken on it, right? Alright. So these 3 things are trash, save for later, and reference. So with trash, it could just be something you just don't need anymore. You just don't think you need it. You don't think you'll ever need it. Maybe you got a flyer about a new internet service that's being offered in your area. You don't need this anymore. You already have internet. So what you're going to do, you're going to trash it. But if that's not the case, you have another option. It's called incubate, which is also known as saving it later. So if you're going to save something later, it can be, let's say you want to keep, you want to go on a trip later, and you want to take a trip to the Rocky Mountains, but you don't have time for that right now. So you just want to keep it in your mind, like, hey, look, here's a reminder, I want to do this someday. So when you're like, oh, what can I do next weekend? Be like, oh, well, let me look in my later folder, and I can go to the Rocky Mountains, right? And that's what is known as later. And last but not least, we have file. And file can be anything that you may need for reference later. Like that phone number you just got earlier, you don't currently need it, but you may need it later. So go ahead and file it. You file in your address book. Or let's see, you can put your birth certificate here, a manual for your TV. Maybe it'll break down one day and you'll have to refer to it later. And that's basically what reference is. Pretty simple, right? Awesome. And now we have, yes, I can do this action. But there's also more things you can do with this action, right? So if this action has more than one step, you're going to be right here. It has more than one step, so you're going to be project. And projects are fun, right? But only if I get planning done. So a project is defined as something that has more than one step to do. And then you plan the steps of what you need to do with this project. And earlier I said, let's say I have a science project. So you have to gather information, you have to find information, find a project, anything like that, starting the project, gathering materials to start your project. Next step will go planning, so you have an idea of what you need to do. And once you finish planning, you're going to move over to your next action. And when you go to next action, there's 3 things you can do. You can defer, which is you can move it for later. And so you have 2 folders in defer. You have your calendar, which is something, not something, but you know what a calendar is. It's where you can put things on a specific day at a specific time that you need to do. And this is the only thing you want to put in your calendar. Like, I have a meeting to go to at 5 p.m. every Tuesday. You want to put that on your calendar. It's specific, and there's just no way around it. But then you have your next action reminder. And this is just like a list where you can say, hey, let me remind you to read this chapter for class on Monday. Right? You can read this anytime in the weekend, anytime before class on Monday. You just need a reminder to tell you, hey, I need to do this. But if you're not the right person for the job, you're going to have to tell someone to delegate it. And let me tell you that if you're going to delegate it to someone, make sure you find the right person, because you don't want that action or task to be on the wait list forever, because that makes for not a happy person. Not at all. Because you have to constantly contact back to the person he delegated, and they may get annoyed and then take longer to do your tasks. And this could be anything like, hey, like your friend has a lawnmower and you ask him to cut your grass for you, and hey, do you mind cutting my grass? And he's like, yeah, I got you. But then he takes 3 months and your grass is about 3 feet tall. Right? That's not gonna work. So, but last but not least, we have my favorite task that you can do as your next action, and that is to just do it. Just like Shia LaBeouf said, just do it. Or Nike, whatever. But if this task takes less than 2 minutes, then go ahead and do it. So it's out of sight, out of mind, and it's done. And this could be simple as taking the trash out, checking your mail, getting air fresheners out of your room to take down to your car so your car doesn't smell so bad. You know, anything at all. That'll just take less than 2 minutes. It won't hurt. You'll get it done. Less things to do, less things to think about. And that makes for an extremely happy person. Yeah, and then thumbs up. Sort of. I don't know what that is. Not thumbs up. We'll do a high five. Oh my gosh, too many fingers. But yeah, awesome. And that basically is a process. Yeah, it's a complicated process, and it'll take time to get to do it and really put it in action. But as long as you get somewhere with it and you figure out what works for you, then time managing may just be a little bit better, and you'll be able to get more things done with less stress.